Welcome to Michigan's True Spirit podcast, brought to you by North River Vodka. North River Vodka, it's Michigan's true spirit. Now, here's Chris and Eric.
Welcome to the Michigan's True Spirit podcast. I am Chris. I'm here with Eric, and you guys haven't seen us in a while. So, Eric, do you want to reintroduce yourself and tell everybody your life story in 10 seconds or less?
Hi, I'm Eric. I'm a big Dutch white guy from West Michigan, and I'm here to make you happy as I can with the time allotted. Thank you.
Awesome. We gave you guys a couple extra weeks to absorb that Brad Osmus interview. So, thanks again to Brad for coming on a few weeks ago. Well, we're talking about Michigan because that's what this podcast is about. I checked out a new concert venue this weekend, Eric. Thanks for not going.
Hey,
You had a valid excuse. It's fine.
Yeah, I did. Caring for children is a thing. And, you go to their stuff. I know, lame. Hey,
This is not the 6-7 motion. This is you balancing concert attendance with your children.
if you want me to go to your stuff, maybe I should adopt you as my child.
You
Otherwise,
I'm
otherwise
up
you're
for
not
that.
cut. Not cutting in line. Okay. Get on the payroll with my other kids.
I'm fine with getting a weekly or monthly check. That's cool by me. I'll take an allowance. Our mutual friend Andy and I attended a dinosaur pileup show at a place in Lansing I had never been before called Greywall Hall. It is spelled Greywall Hall, but my understanding is Greywall Hall. Have you been to Greywall Hall, Eric?
I barely leave the house. Thanks, Chris.
It is chef's kiss, pristine. It is beautiful. It is new. It is modern. It is clean. The drinks were moderately priced. I think I paid $8 for a long drink, which is, too much for a long drink, but it's, better than the 1875 beer at
The Russell
place we will.
Industrial Center or whatever.
No. I was going to say the place that rhymes with Saint Schmandrew's,
Oh yeah.
which is a great venue too. Just really expensive drinks. Saw Dinosaur Pile Up, so we should give them some love just because they allow us to use their song Peninsula as their intro music. For our podcast. I am also under the weather, so to quote the name of their latest album, I've felt better. So just bear with me as we try to get through this next 30 to 40 minutes. Fun show with Andy, though, and a great venue. I love myself some Dinosaur Pile Up so much that I bypassed another ticket that I had Saturday, which I should return to briefly, and drove to Fort Wayne, Indiana, by myself to see Dinosaur Pile Up again in a place that was not nearly as nice. We try to stay positive on this podcast. It is a Michigan podcast.
Hey,
but
it's Indiana. We can dump on
I was in
them, right?
Indiana. That venue was kind of a dump. Remember the song? It's called the venue I was in is called Stan's Room, and the sound was good. Honestly, the sound was really good. It was called Stan's Room. Do you remember the song by Eminem, Stan?
Yeah, of course.
Stan's Room reminds me of like where what the kind of place Stan would rent for his daughter's third wedding reception.
Okay.
It held, I don't know, 200-300 people, had ceiling tiles. But again, the sound was good, even with my fancy little concert earplugs, which I usually pull out because I hate the sound of them, but it's the only thing that prevented me from going deaf in Stan's Room. I was leaning on a bank of speakers on the stage. If you get on YouTube, you can find a video from the concert. You can see me leaning on a bank of amps next to the stage. So great show. Great venue, Greywall Hall. You should check it out. It's embarrassing that my 17-year-old daughter had been to Greywall Hall before I attended there, but she had some kind of a K-pop event a few months ago there. So I would highly advise y'all to check out their calendar.
Kids love their
check it
K-pop.
out.
Yeah.
They do. They absolutely.
Have you been doing any
absolutely
demon
do.
hunting lately?
Yeah, that's all I know. That is the extent of my knowledge of K-pop demon hunters, is that there's something that exists called K-pop demon hunters. That's all I got.
Plenty.
Yeah. So with that, we will be right back with Grand Traverse Distillery Chief Financial Officer and do-it-all guy, Joe Kolar.
This is Alex Avila, and you're listening to Michigan's True Spirit Podcast.
Welcome back to the Michigan's True Spirit Podcast. I'm Chris, here with Eric, and we are here with Grand Traverse Distillery CFO and does way more than CFO, Joe Kolar. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. And I should get a shameless plug in right now. Grand Traverse Distillery is where North River Vodka is distilled.
Yes.
So
Sure is.
thank you guys for doing a great job.
Absolutely.
Whenever people start asking me about vodka, they start asking me technical questions, and then that's when I have to admit that I don't own expensive, shiny, fancy, fun equipment or a big building. That I leave it to the experts, and that you guys are the experts. But before we get into why you guys are the experts, we should go around the circle here and talk about what we are drinking. I don't know, Eric, do we have a routine? Is it guest first or guest last? What should we do?
You're in charge, man. You're in charge of the world.
We'll let Joe go last. Eric, go ahead. You go first.
I have some bourbon and a little amaretto in it, just to spice it up, because I'm drinking happen to be cheap bourbon tonight, so I don't feel too bad about it.
I have a fancy Michigan glass. I
Look
don't
at
know if
you.
you can see the outline of Michigan on there with a fancy big ice cube. And in honor of having Joe on,
Yeah.
despite my
That's a good
flu,
one.
I do have a glass of like Theraflu mixed with water, but I do have a bottle of Michigan wheat,
Yeah,
bottle and bond wheat whiskey from
weeded
Brad
bottled and
Travis.
bond. Good stuff.
Brad Travis Distillery. Yeah, it is good stuff on the rocks here. So, Joe, what do you got?
I have a glass of Lake Michigan bourbon from Grand Traverse Distillery. So that's
Good
our
stuff.
2 to 3 year old wheated bourbon. So this is one we released this past year. This has a nice entry level, lower price point wheated bourbon, lighter, softer, kind of our everyday style stuff. So
Nice.
Awesome, excellent. I've
Yeah.
not had that. I'll have to stop in the
Yeah.
in the tasting room sometime soon and grab myself a bottle.
Absolutely.
So, Joe, tell us about Grand Traverse Distillery. I don't want to say briefly, like in one sentence, but you guys have a long history, so you probably shouldn't go over it in real time. But I believe you guys are the oldest craft distillery in Michigan of some sort. Is that
Yeah. Yep. So we're the oldest grain to bottle craft distillery in the state of Michigan. Excuse me. There's a few wineries that were distilling before us doing grappas and stuff like that. But as far as a true grain to bottle distillery, we are the oldest at 21 years old this year. So started off making vodka and then slowly moved into the whiskey stuff. And now we offer vodka, whiskey, gin, rum, and a little bit of everything.
Yeah, you guys tell us about like how many different whiskeys and bourbons and everything do you guys have now? You can list them off right. This is your sales time, Joe. So tell us all about it.
So right now, I think we have 6 vodkas on offer. We have 2 gins, 2 rums, and then whiskeys kind of alternate based on seasonal releases. I think we've got 12 on the shelf right now in our tasting room. So those kind of come and go as we do special releases, different barrel finishes, that kind of stuff. So if you walk into a tasting room, try some stuff and come back in a few months, there's going to be a few new things on the shelf.
Yeah. So what are some of the challenges and then maybe opportunities about distilling in Michigan? When people think bourbon, they often think Kentucky. It's really the climate's different. Everything is different about it. Do you find particular challenges and maybe it just makes it more special in some ways too?
Sure. Well, the biggest challenge as a craft distillery, especially on the whiskey side, is spending your money on your time, equipment, and materials, and then sitting staring at your product age.
Yep.
So that's always the biggest challenge. Some of our great advantages is we have fantastic agriculture in the state of Michigan.
Yes. Yep.
We have great access to grains and potatoes for North River vodka. We have all sorts of great agriculture right at our doorstep. And as far as aging whiskey, the biggest push in aging whiskey is temperature swings, allowing that barrel to warm up and expand and you kind of suck that whiskey into the staves and then cool, contract, and push it back through. Mm-hmm. And as we can see, I don't know how the weather is down by you guys, but Michigan, we have temperature swings. We can see all 4 seasons in one day. So that actually helps us age our whiskeys a lot, just, pushing that process through with all that temperature swing. So,
yeah, I try to stop by the distillery as often as you guys will tolerate me, and you guys always make me feel like family there. So I always appreciate it, but it's always cool. Like you'll drive into the parking lot and some days the door will be wide open to the barrel room because you're just taking advantage of whether it's hot or whether it's cold to kind of change the temperature of that. Can you tell us more just about like the importance to you guys of Michigan agriculture and also the importance of craft? And I know this is a long question, so you can talk a long time, but I think people have a misunderstanding of what a Michigan alcohol is. And whenever I'm there, I've been on your tour like 5 or 6 times. And whenever I'm there, I always re-listen to you guys discuss the difference between kind of craft and I don't know if we want to call it fake craft. Is that a fair term?
Yeah, that's fair. Kind of craft versus crafty.
Very good.
The biggest thing in the distilling world especially is with the challenges on the whiskey side of, spending your time and money on the equipment and materials, your employees, and waiting for that whiskey to age, what a lot of distilleries and craft distilleries do is they'll just buy a already aged whiskey product from a big factory down in Indiana called MGP, ship it up to their local area, slap a local name, tell you a great story, and sell you as if it's a craft whiskey. But that's not craft distilling. You're a marketing company that happens to sell XYZ, spirit. On the other side, we distill everything from raw grain. All of our corn, rye, wheat, and malted barley come from within 15 miles of the distillery itself. There's a few products where we have to get, some materials that we can't get locally. Like we make a rum. Sugarcane doesn't grow in Michigan. So we get a Caribbean molasses shipped up for that. And then we've played with some like smoked malted barleys and stuff from different places. But if we can get it local, we're going to get it local. That's the whole point of being a craft distillery. You don't want to go to a farmer's market and buy bananas from Mexico. You want to just support the people around you. If you're not going to support your neighbor who's going to. So that's our big push, is just to make something crafty, have it be a true Michigan spirit. A handful of, I think over 50% of our products now have the pure Michigan designation, where that's a strict application process showing you get all these materials sourced in Michigan, grown in Michigan, and it's a true pure Michigan product. So that's our biggest thing is if you're ever curious about a whiskey and don't know if the craft distillery actually made it, just read the bottle. If somebody distilled it, they're going to say distilled right on the front.
Yep.
It's going to say distilled, aged, and bottled by Grand Traverse Distillery. If they didn't make it, it's probably going to be on the back, somewhere near the barcode. It's going to be really little letters. And it's probably going to say something like produced by or bottled by.
Bottled by, yep.
Yeah. So that's just showing, you produced it, you brought it to market, but you didn't distill it. So just, if you're ever curious, flip a bottle. If you're in the aisle, look and see where a lot of stuff comes from, because, there's a chance that it's not truly coming from your backyard, even though they sell it to you. So if you ever go to a new, go ahead.
No, there's like a million tricks too. Like you can buy stuff from a place out of state, and then you can bottle it, you can filter it, you can stir it, you can add a teaspoon of sugar. Like there's a million things you can do it and then call it your own, correct?
Absolutely. And you can even, if you are distilling a little bit, you can even blend it with it. And then you could say distilled, blended, and produced by. So you have that little distilled bit because you distilled, a little percent of it, and then you can get those layers on there. So just read the bottle. If you ever see anything called bottle and bond, a lot of our products are pushing to bottle and bond. A bottled and bond product is legally from that distillery. There's a handful of different rules, 4 years old, 100 proof, distilled in the same season by the same distillery. But a bottle and bond product, that came from that distillery. So that's always a good thing to look for too. Kind of an old seal of quality.
Yeah, I do find that fascinating, these non-distiller producers, and Midwest Grain Products has just this huge factor. They're pumping out stuff, and it's fascinating, some of the shortcuts, and it's good to see people producing, distilling it the right way. And so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah, and I think I talked to somebody in Washington, D.C. who was a lawyer before we started this podcast, because I try not to run amok of alcohol laws. And they informed me that I can't say anything negative about any other spirits companies. But there is a giant vodka company that does not distill their own vodka. I believe they ship it in on tanker trucks and run it through some pipe and call it their own. I don't think you can get a tour because they're not really distilling anything. And I don't get mad about vodka that's not craft. I get mad about vodka that's not craft that pretends they are.
That's the biggest thing, is be honest. Be transparent. If you didn't make it, fine, that's fine. But don't mislead the customer. That's the biggest thing. Have some integrity with your product.
Yeah, I would advise people to stop in, and you guys, your distillery is not placed logistically where most distilleries are, because you guys built a distillery before you could serve alcohol at your distillery. So you guys are kind of like in an industrial park instead of like a tourist stop. And you have a tasting room in downtown Traverse City and elsewhere across the street, which we should let you plug soon. But like it's cool to go there and take the tour. But can you like give us a tour without us being there? Like how does let's use North River Vodka just as an example. Like how do you get from potatoes to craft vodka? Like what's the process? Like, and again, I say briefly only because it's a very complicated process.
Sure.
But if you can boil it down for us dummies, how it works. Fire away.
Absolutely. So take in your raw ingredients. So in this case, potatoes for North River potato vodka. Bring it in. First, we're going to take those whole raw grain potatoes, mash them up. We want to get access to all those starches and convert them to a sugar. In order to add yeast to a mixture and create alcohol, yeast eats sugar to create alcohol and CO2. So we want to break down all that starch content, convert it to a sugar by cooking it up and using an enzyme. Once that starch is converted to a sugar, we add our yeast. That's where we're fermenting. We'll ferment for about a week. After that fermentation period, you'll be anywhere from 10 to 12% alcohol content, depending on your sugar conversion rates. We're essentially having, you essentially have a beer there, that's not carbonated without hops. Yep. So at that point, to go from that 10% alcohol content, we need to put it into the still. Distillation is just the process of taking a liquid, heating it up so it evaporates, and then condensing it back to a liquid again. So with distilling spirits, what we're doing is we're trying to boil off those alcohol compounds just so we have all of that alcohol passing through. So we can go from 10% alcohol content to, with a vodka, it needs to be distilled to 190 proof, which is 95% pure alcohol, which makes sense. You think about vodka, what's it taste like? Alcohol and water, right? Basically what it is. It's distilled to almost pure alcohol, then proofed down with water again. So we're going to run it through our distillation process, stripping all those alcohols out and concentrating it up to that 190 proof mark. To do that in ours, we run it through our stripping still once, our whiskey still, and then we have another column still where we'll run it through 2 more times to get to that high proof mark. Once we hit the 190 proof mark, we'll store it off into a tank. It'll go through filtering, make sure there's no leftover particulates or anything like that. A little bit of carbon filtration, and then it'll be proofed down. Add water to it, bring it down to that 80 proof mark, 40% alcohol, and then we'll stick it in a bottle. And if we wanted to go from raw potatoes to having a finished bottle of North River vodka in front of us, we could probably do that in 5 to 6 weeks, going from raw potatoes off a truck into a bottle in your home. So
yeah, it's a cool process. It's like a chemistry set, but it smells like a bakery. Like I know I said it 5 times, but go take a tour. Like every time I walk in, I just take a big whiff of the place because it always smells great.
Absolutely.
Some romance involved in that, right? Doing alchemy. Smells good.
Yes. You guys need to come by when we make rum. Fermenting molasses and distilling it literally smells like a Christmas bakery. So, but all the smells are good.
Yeah, I don't think I've been there for rum.
Yeah, we usually do that right before Christmas. So if you're ever in town around Christmas time,
gotcha,
swing by.
Awesome.
So we got a process. We got a lot of romance. We got some product that we have. I have to ask you, there's been a lot of talk lately about, especially in the world of bourbon, this bubble. And has there been an overproduction? We're experiencing some young people who are choosing, dry January, some lower ABV options. I don't know. Should we be scared? What's the, from your chair, you're probably looking at some of this stuff. What's the environment out there in the world of booze?
Yeah, whiskey has been the hot thing for the past, call it 10, 15 years.
Since especially since COVID too, it's like crazy.
Exactly, especially after COVID.
Yeah.
But even before then, and it was very much on the same trajectory as craft beer was beforehand. You saw craft breweries popping up left and right, and now you can't really get by on just being a craft brewery anymore. You have to have good beer. We saw in Traverse City here, you could throw a rock in any direction and hit a brewery. But at a certain point, you gotta, give the people a reason to come back and not just be, we make it here. Whiskey, it's been the hot thing, and a lot of the big distillers have been producing like crazy because it's hard to plan for your inventory. We don't know what our sales are going to be in 4 to 5 years, which is our average age of a bourbon. So, right now, we're in 6 years from COVID. Past year or so, we've been tight on bourbon because 4 or 5, 6 years ago, it was 2020. We weren't making whiskey then. We were making hand sanitizer just to stay essential and stay open. And whiskey is slowly coming down. The younger generation's not drinking so much. And spirits choice are kind of cyclical.
Right.
Bourbon and whiskey was not hot during the 70s. There was a lot of vodka and gin.
Yep.
And then then you saw beer becoming the big thing in the 90s into the early 2000s, and now tequila's hot, and you got seltzers and RTDs and canned cocktails and all that. Yep. So I think it was Jim Beam or one of the big distillers is shutting down production for a year because they're just
the whole Claremont Claremont campus is they're shuttering it for a year.
Yeah. So we're lucky. We can't make a whole lot. If you walk through our distillery, we make 1 barrel's worth of whiskey a day, whereas Buffalo Trace or something makes thousands of barrels a day. Yeah. So, on a good year, we fill 250 barrels. So we can't really overextend ourselves too much, and we're limited on space. And our big market is, having people come to our tasting rooms. We operate 5 of them across the state right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get to have people come in, have a cocktail, have a taste. If you like a bottle, you can buy it. Distribution's a tough game. I mean, Chris can attribute to this. It's hard to get a retailer to carry your product, and then you better sell through, or else you're getting bumped for the next guy. So yeah, it's an interesting time for spirit. Our spirits are high, no pun intended, but we're doing well. And we kind of control ourselves. We kind of control our own destiny with our tasting rooms. So we're comfortable, but it's going to be interesting to see where the market is even 2-3 years from now.
Yeah, it seems like it's kind of to your advantage. Like the big boys sell, when I was at Buffalo Trace, however many 8 million barrels or whatever. If you can take just a fraction of that, like it's not about really overall consumption. It's about, elbowing your way into some specialty area. So yeah, tasting room stuff like that. It's good to hear that there's a lot of, it seems like there's a lot of good opportunity for you. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm going to speak for you, Joe. I think I can safely here is because people always ask me, like, where can I find North River Vodka? And I'm sure they ask you the same question. And I always tell them, like, I tell them if I know, I'm like, where are you from? Because I usually can get you to a place close. But they'll be like, so and so should carry it. And I always like, you should ask them. Like, I can ask them, but I'm just another sales guy. There's a bunch of Michigan vodkas, and there's nothing that differentiates me from a guy from a different distillery that's selling it. But if you ask for it, places will carry it for you. You're the customer. Like what you want is what they will carry. But if you can, and I know this is hard because it's hard for me. I know who has purchased in the past, but I can't tell you if they still have us on their shelves. But can you tell people like some highlights of some places where they can find your products, including like your tasting room locations and the main stores that you are in and that carry you? If you can tell people where to find your stuff, that would be cool.
Sure. Yeah. So we have our distillery location here in Traverse City, off of 3 Mile Road. That's our main, distillery tasting room. We have a tasting room and cocktail bar in downtown Traverse City, 215 East Front. Our other big year-round store is down in Frankenmuth, Michigan, in the River Place shop. And then we opened a new tasting room last year up in Charlevoix. That's year-round currently. And then we have 2 seasonal ones, one up in Leland by Fishtown, and then we're building out one in Suttons Bay right now. So those are our tasting room locations.
Awesome.
And then as far as our spirits, kind of same thing with Chris. It cycles, but a lot of them carry our cherry vodkas, a lot of the the standard bourbon, rye, that stuff. But most of your mom and pop shops, you're most likely to see the cherry vodka on the shelf anywhere. We're in a handful of Total Wines down in the Metro Detroit area. Rishi's down in Grand Rapids is a great partner
Great
of ours.
spot.
Yep. So, but same thing as Chris said, if you want it, call, have them order it for you. They can order a bottle from the distributor and have it to you in a few days. And that always goes much further than, us or our distributor knocking on your door trying to get them to buy a few bottles to put on the shelf.
Yeah, we won't bore you guys with the distribution process, but it's shocking to me that in Michigan you can own a liquor store and you can order 1 bottle of North River vodka, because logistically getting that bottle from the warehouse to the store is a ton of hands-on work for somebody. But the benefit to the consumer in Michigan is that if you want a bottle, any liquor store worth its salt, any liquor store that wants to serve a customer, if you ask them to grab you a bottle, they'll get you one on their next truck which is within a week. Like they all get deliveries every week. So yeah, I would encourage you to pick your Michigan spirit, ask for it locally, have somebody carry it. Speaking of your spirits, can you give us like, what are you most excited about? Like what give us a few I'm sure you love all your products.
Yeah.
But can you give us a highlight of kind of maybe your best sellers and then also some things, new or something that you're excited about?
Sure. Yeah. Our 2 best sellers, believe it or not, Traverse City, are our 2 cherry products. So we have a cherry vodka and a cherry whiskey. Cherry vodka is very cherry forward. It is what it says on the bottle. It's cherry. Then we have a cherry whiskey, which is more so, it's bourbon with a hint of cherry. It's not cherry with a hint of bourbon. We always go lighter on the cherry stuff because you can always add more. You can't pull it out. So those are kind of the 2 that make sure my paychecks don't bounce. On the whiskey side, we always have something new in the works. We'll have a blackberry wine bourbon being released, hopefully towards late spring, early summer. We have an Amberana barrel, finished barrel coming out again, hopefully spring/summer. That's tough with a lot of those because you just can't release it until it's ready. So we got a couple of those, and then we have a lot of bourbons. We have a lot of rye. We're a rye heavy distillery, so if you're a bourbon guy and you want to try something new, give rye a try. Rye gets a bad rep, but There's so many fantastic ryes. It's peppery and it's spicy and it's got so much depth of flavor. So if you ever pop into our tasting rooms, we have a whole line of ryes. You can see a base rye, and then you can see what all these different barrel finishes will kind of manipulate it too. So if you're gonna come in and try one thing, try our Old George rye whiskey.
Yeah, my experience is ryes have a wider breadth of flavor profile
Yes.
even than bourbon, because the bourbon's pretty rigid in what they can do, but rye, it seems like, you can go to everything from like 100% rye to 51% rye. It can really change what your experience. And some of the really super rye heavy stuff that I don't really like, if it's kind of a more mid profile or whatever, it really is tasty. So I think your advice is good in that. Give rye a chance, even if you've had a bottle of rye that you're like, some of the other stuff can be really good.
Yeah, always give rye a chance. That's the best thing to do.
And
Especially
it's
go to a tasting
faithful.
room, just give it a try. It's low stake.
It's faithful to the Midwest too. Like rye is an authentic product. The Midwest, yes, rum is good, sugarcane or whatever, but northern, you can grow rye far north, and it's authentic.
I'm gonna get give Rye a chance t-shirts printed up. That's
Give Rye a
There you go.
chance.
Rye a chance like that because
I'm a Rye
I like
guy.
that.
Hey, Joe, thanks for coming on, but we're not going to kick you off. We're going to take a quick break and everybody's going to refresh their drinks, and then we'll be right back with Joe Kolar from Grand Traverse Distillery.
North River Vodka. It's Michigan's true spirit. Now back to Chris and Eric.
Welcome back to the Michigan's True Spirit podcast. I am Chris. I'm here with Eric, and we are here with Joe Kolar from Grand Traverse Distillery. This is a new segment of this show. It's called My Michigan. It's a terrible name for a segment. Joe, if you have a better name for this segment, send us a text afterwards. But this is where we talk about a region of Michigan, and we just decided to have Joe stick around and talk a little bit about Traverse City. But since we're in a new segment, we should talk about drinks again. You guys pour anything new while we were away for that 15 seconds?
I'm rocking, some North River. Simple.
Thanks for promoting North River Vodka. I'm still having the same whiskey drink and Theraflu that I had earlier. Joe, what do you have? I bet you have another Grand Traverse Distillery product.
Yeah, sure do. So I have our cocoa bean vodka. So it's a wheat vodka infused with dark cocoa nibs. So it's got color like a whiskey, but instead of using chemical flavorings, we just take a tank of wheat vodka and dump 100 pounds of dark cocoa nibs in there and let it infuse for 6 months.
Yeah.
So it's that dark, bitter style chocolate. You can mix it with something sweet without it becoming overly sweet. So if you like White Russians, espresso martinis, in the summertime we throw Faygo cream soda over it. It's perfect for a my kind of segment with a Michigan cream soda. Give it a little bit of sweetness and it tastes like a Tootsie Roll. So hard to go wrong.
Joe, if you do a better job at this, I'm going to fire Eric and you're going to be the co-host.
Okay.
You just played right into the my thing. So, but you touched upon something. Isn't it fun, like infusing vodkas? Like I throw dry hot peppers in a bottle of North River vodka. I throw some basil in a different one. I've made a lavender. Like it's fun just to throw stuff in vodka and drink it later.
Yeah. I always tell people, even in our tasting rooms, like, if there's a flavor you're going for and you want to make a fun drink, just buy a bottle of your favorite vodka, try North River out or something. But then, throw some, whatever you like, strawberries, blueberries, you got something from your garden, just throw it in there and let it infuse. Put it in the fridge for a couple of days, give it a shake and see what you get. That's how we've come up with a lot of our products is you want the flavor, just use the thing. So it's a lot of fun.
I wasn't going to tell this story, but we're here now, so I'm going to tell it. And I don't think you were a party to this, Joe, so this is probably new to you. But my family grows purple potatoes that they sell to Great Lakes Potato Chip Company, another place in Traverse City, to make purple potato chips. And one year, my family called me and they're like, "Hey, we got some extra purple potatoes. Do you want to make vodka out of it?" And I called you guys, and you were like, "Yeah, you don't have enough potatoes, and it's not going to make enough vodka. It's probably not worth your time. I'm not sure we have time for it. It's going to distill clear, so that's not really that much fun anyway." So then I decided I was going to I cut a purple potato and I plunked it into a bottle of North River vodka. And I went and watched TV. And an hour later, I walked out into the kitchen, and it was the most beautiful bottle of purple vodka you would
look
ever
like
see.
Empress Gin. Yeah.
It was beautiful. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're all rich. We're going to quit making North River vodka. We're going to make purple potato vodka. I think I sent you guys photos. I don't think it was you. It was probably Kent. And I'm like, oh my gosh, check this out, how beautiful this is. And then I went and watched TV for another hour, and I came back in the kitchen, and it looked like dirty dishwater. All the purple had settled into the bottom. There was a film in the bottom that looked disgusting, and all my dreams were dashed. And I know that you can buy is it pea flour? And we could make purple potato vodka and then color it purple with pea flower, but that's just not. You can be rich or you can be authentic, and stupidly, I've stuck with authentic my
Yeah,
whole life.
same with us.
Yeah.
So, but
So anyway, sorry about that little aside, but back to my mind. Tell us like what's special or fun or cool or unique about doing business in Michigan and specifically in Traverse City for you guys? Yeah.
yeah, well, Michigan in general, we're a great hardy people. I mean, I think the biggest thing is we appreciate our weather more so the summers and the winters, but you know, when it gets nice out and people love enjoying our area. It's so beautiful. Beautiful. You get up here up north near Traverse and stuff, and I mean, you throw a rock in any direction, you're gonna hit a lake, a beach. There's always something to do. There's always some kind of festival going on, and everyone's just having a good time. And that's the reason a lot of people come from Chicago and
Yeah.
down south, and that's why a lot of people half their living is up here for half the year, and then they go down south. And it's just everyone really appreciates what our great state has to offer. And a lot of times you talk to somebody from out of state and they're like, oh, Michigan, they just think Detroit and that's it. And Detroit's a great city on its own too, and there's a lot to do that they don't get credit for. But it's just a beautiful state, and just being able to be a part of that and having our natural resources, you can't beat it. We got water on three sides. We're the fresh coast, so kind of hard to beat that. And then doing business, when there's tourism, people come, and it's great to have business, and chances are you're gonna have some repeat customers, but you're gonna meet a lot of new people every single year. So I think that's a great advantage of running a business, especially in the Traverse City area.
Is the idea to give people a great experience at the distillery and then hope they go home and then look for you on the shelves? Is that kind of how the business model is? 'Cause
Absolutely.
North River Vodka, we have one SKU, we have no tasting room. Like this is not the way to make money in this
Yeah.
business. But that's the idea, right? Is to get people in the doors and then get some brand loyalty.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the goal. Especially with spirits and our whiskeys, especially, our spirits aren't cheap. We're aware of that. So the whole tasting room concept is great because you can come in and, you get a flight of 4 samples for $5. It's pretty low stakes stuff. And you can try something, and that's a great chance to try a rye and try, get out of your comfort zone, try a gin. And then if you like it, you can buy a bottle. If not, no harm, no foul. And then, yeah, the goal, especially for people, the majority of our population lives in, Southeast Michigan or Grand Rapids. So, hopefully they, remember that, and then hopefully they see us in the store, we'll grab a bottle or be like, hey, can you order this for me? So that's always the goal, but just giving them the best experience. And, I always tell people we sell liquid souvenirs, instead of a magnet on your fridge, you can grab a bottle, and then when it's 10 degrees outside and blowing snow, you can pull that bottle down and remember your time at the tasting room when you had a tour or had a great cocktail.
Yeah, that's a good point. I have more bottles of alcohol in my house for a guy who doesn't drink that much because I just think it's cool to have the souvenirs and the options.
Yep.
Like I just think it's cool to have and Michigan products and some non-Michigan products too, just to have them around. Excuse me. We talked about doing business in Traverse City, Joe, but what do you love about living in Traverse City? Can you give us some, if people have not been to Traverse City, or even if they have, can you give us some secret spots or some cool places that are popular or not popular? Like give us a restaurant or two and an event, a concert venue, a tourist attraction. Sure. Like what should we do and where should we go if we come to Traverse City?
Well, Traverse City always kind of prides itself on being a foodie town. I don't know if I believe in that so much compared to a lot of other towns, but if you come to Traverse City and you want a burger, go to Don's Drive-In. It's a little 50s style diner with just greasy burgers off a flat top. It's 50s retro theme. There's an actual drive-in where they will come to your car, put the thing on your window, and it's just greasy, wholesome, Americana. Great malts and stuff. So if you're looking for food, you're going to be in and out of there for $12 per person. Beats $25 in downtown Traverse City for a so-so burger anywhere else. So if you're going to come here, do that for food. And then as far as traveling, go through Traverse City, go to downtown, and then keep heading west. As you pass through Traverse City, you get west, you get closer to Empire and up into the Leelanau Peninsula. Yeah. It's gorgeous. And there's so many small little towns. Obviously, we have a tasting room up in Leland and Fishtown, but there's Glen Arbor, there's Sutton's Bay, there's Empire. There's so many small little towns where you just kind of feel the time dial back. There's no franchise restaurants, there's no gas stations besides a mom and pop shop. It just kind of makes you feel like it gives you that true, authentic, up north feel, as cliche as that is. So just, I would say get off and, go down a dirt road and just find something different. And, skip the hotels and all that. Go do that for a day, but get out and see some nature and some different stuff.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Joe. Hey, thanks for coming on. Is there anything,
Thank you.
this is your 30 seconds to plug, like, where can we find you online? Like, tell us about your socials, give us, I don't know, sell us
Sure.
whatever you want to sell us, Joe.
All right, absolutely. So yeah, our website is just grandtraversdistillery.com, one big long word. Some of our spirits are available for shipping on there now.
Awesome.
It's not cheap because you have to pay for signature delivery and the 3-tier distribution system. Won't bore you with that, but if you ever want to try our stuff and you can't make it to a tasting room in Michigan, that's an option. Grand Traverse Distillery on Facebook, GT Distillery on Instagram. But yeah, if you're ever in the Traverse City area or any of the other tasting room locations, pop in and see what we have to offer. And something to offer your listeners, if any of you are listening and you want to come tour the distillery, send me an email, Joe at grandtraversdistillery.com. I'd be happy to give you a tour, bring some friends, significant others, what have you. Shoot me an email, we'll get you on the schedule, and I'd be happy to give you a tour on the house. So
it is awesome, and I do feel like I feel like you guys have. I'm not there much, and I feel like you guys have adopted me. Like I love showing up, and Laura's always sweet and say hey to Chris, and like everybody there is great. Like it's and you never know who you're going to run into because we talked about it before we got on here, but you're the CFO, but you do tours, and I'm assuming you hammer corks into bottles, and like everybody there kind of does everything because that's kind of what you do at that size of an operation. So it truly is like a family there. So yeah, that's very cool. So awesome. Thanks for coming on, Joe. Appreciate your time.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Tremendous.
Take care.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Michigan's True Spirit podcast. North River Vodka. It's Michigan's True Spirit. Welcome back to the Michigan's True Spirit podcast. Thanks to Joe Kolar for coming on our show tonight. Appreciate him taking the time to come on our show. And it is time to remind you to please drink responsibly. If you're not going to drink responsibly, please do not drink at all. This is the final segment of our podcast. This is the greatest segment in the history of podcasts. I don't think I'm giving it too much credit. Am I, Eric? That's fair.
Underselling it, if anything.
Underselling it. This is a game we call Rock or Crock. This is where I describe a band that's coming to play a show in Michigan. I give Eric their real name. I give him a fake name. I have a phone full of fake band names that I've just made notes of over the years. Eric has to guess which is real and which is fake. And Eric, I'm going to ask you a big favor tonight. Sometimes when I read these descriptions, you get a little snarky. You get some attitude. You make fun of it.
What?
But here's the thing. I'm afraid that this band might come hunt me down and kill me. Okay? I try not to mess with death metal bands.
Hey, so man. If it happens, it happens. Just submit to the sweet surrender of death metal death. It's fine.
Just
it happens.
I want this band to know that I live on the Keweenaw Peninsula and the UP. So go look for me there. Eric lives over at Grand
His
Rapids.
name is Chris. His address is
yeah, that's awesome. So are you ready to play Rock or Crock?
Strapped in. I'm not scared.
This is a band from Ocean City, Maryland, primarily categorized as a blend of death metal and grindcore with early influence of something called power violence. Don't know what that is. Formed in 2011, they are known for a heavy, sludge-influenced sound featuring bass-heavy caveman riffs.
Oh, yeah, I love those. Yeah.
Breakdowns and grindcore elements. Yeah. They often feature members of the grindcore band called Full of Hell.
Oh.
Their most recent album is entitled Carceral Warfare. And you are better at words than me. Do you know the definition of carceral?
Carceral?
It's related to being incarcerated. It has something to do with prison.
Okay.
So there you have it. Do you want me to Google more details, or is that enough for you to go?
I'm sufficiently scared. Thank you.
Death metal, grindcore, power violence, members from Full of Hell, sludgy, caveman riffs, whatever, carceral warfare. Is this band, this is where I cover my mouth.
It's gonna be that screaming.
Is this band called Satan's Granola?
Yummy.
Or is this band called Jarhead Fertilizer?
Jarhead Fertilizer. Satan's Granola. Just the word granola seems pretty playful, which is not, tapping into the death metal spirit. So my first instinct is Satan's Granola pretty whimsical, really. Seems to be manufactured name. Whereas Jarhead Fertilizer, sure, fertilizer is also a tad bit whimsical, but Jarhead is what? Slang for a Marine? Some member of the service. There was that movie Jarhead a while back with Jake Gyllenhaal, I think. And he like goes and Jarhead is about he trains to be a sniper and like this big buildup, and then he's in the oil fields of Iraq, and it's like a big letdown because he doesn't get to shoot anybody. That was the movie Jarhead. So Jarhead and Fertilizer, that lends itself to me to be more grindcore death metal. Satan's Granola, I think is manufactured. It's too whimsical and playful. I think the real name is Jarhead Fertilizer, and the fake name is Satan's Granola. That's my final answer.
Congratulations, Eric.
Yeah,
Jarhead Jarhead Fertilizer will be headlining at the Sanctuary
damn
in
right.
Hamtramck on March 4th, along with Blood Monolith,
Mhm. Of course, blood.
Snafu, and a
Okay.
band called. This is really creative, but I have to look at it
Satan's
like no.
testicles.
I have to say I have to look at it like 5 times because it's kind of whimsical and playful, but it's hard to pronounce. Mutilatred. Mutilatred.
Mutilatred.
It's like
Okay.
mutilated and hatred together. Mutilatred.
Yeah. It's my average weekend. Yeah.
So, congratulations. I'm sure you probably already knew that Jarhead Fertilizer was a real band because I'm sure you have multiple tickets to see this show
Yeah.
in the sanctuary.
I was sad when some of the guys left full of hell. And I was just so happy that, they caught on with Jarhead Fertilizer.
I get the sense that they didn't exactly leave full of hell. I think they're in
They
more than
got
one
killed.
band. No, I don't think they got killed either. I think they're just in more than one band, to be fair.
They
So
killed the other members of Full of Hell. They descended to hell, and the third day rose again from. Okay, sorry, that was impossible.
again, his name is Eric. He lives in West Michigan.
Don't give him any more details than
My
that.
real name is not Chris, and I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So come find me there. So congratulations, Eric.
Yes. Oh,
Thanks for still having a losing record in Rock
I
or
was
Crock.
due. I was
Right.
due.
You are now 8-9, and we talked about this early on during when we started this podcast. But you are 8-9, and it seems like when somebody gets to 10, are we going to institute some sort of punishment?
Now, no one has agreed to this. You just keep suggesting punishment like it's a real thing. I've never signed up for
This
this.
seems like something we should do.
I
So-
like, oh yeah, give me punishment for where's my reward? Like if I win, I should be able to you know, succeed at, having a prize.
Fair. Fair. So
Damn right it's fair.
thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to Joe Kolar from Grand Traverse Distillery for coming
Oh.
on. Thanks to Grand Traverse Distillery for distilling North River Vodka, the so-called sponsor of this podcast. No money exchanges hands, except we do pay Logan a pittance to produce this. So, and thanks to Logan for being there for us. Thanks
Grand
to
River
any of
Vodka, the Angel's Elixir. You're not gonna find
Dude,
that.
it's North River Vodka.
What did I say?
It's not Grand River Vodka. Holy
I got
crap.
them
You
combined.
Suck at this. I'm cutting back your pay for being a promoter of this liquor. North River Vodka. I don't even have a bottle here in front of me.
Don't make me tell you where Jarhead Fertilizer is coming. I'm gonna tell them where you live.
We should go see Jarhead Fertilizer.
For sure. We need earplugs and no expectation for understandable lyrics. A lot of screaming. Ah.
Yeah. So, anybody else we need to thank? Thank y'all
No,
for listening.
no.
Thank you, especially if you're listening and you're not a sibling or a friend of mine. You're one of the few, the proud, the Jarheads. Is that fair?
Jarhead Fertilizer.
How that works. So, anyway, we're rambling now. You got anything else to add, Eric?
No.
All right.
That's all for now.
Good night.